Hello, hello, my little sewing enthusiasts. Welcome back to the third and final part of the Ramona milkmaid dress step-by-step sewing tutorial. I am your guide, Daria, and let me just say, I am so thrilled that you choose to stay with me until the very end. You are simply the best. But let's not dilly-dally. We still have some work to do. Part 3. Skirt, zipper, and straps. On the side seams of front skirt and back skirt pieces, use the allowance finishing method that we discussed in Part 2 of this tutorial. Place the front and back skirt pieces right sides together and align the side edges, matching the hip notches. Pin, baste, and stitch. Full length stitch from the right side of the garment, partial stitch from the left side. Keep 30 centimeters unstitched for the zipper that we will place later. Press the side seam allowances open. Okay, time to adjust our bodice to the skirt. Place the bodice and skirt pieces right sides together. Align the bodice and skirt waistline edges, middle part and side seams. Pin and baste in place. Pinning the back part, start first by pinning the side part seams. Then, while pinning the stretchy part of the back bodice, make sure to stretch it enough to fit the skirt's part. That way, when this seam is secured in place, skirt's part will shrink together with the back bodice. This part is a bit tricky, so don't rush the process. on the machine from the side of the bodice. Press the waist seam allowances open, then down. When stitching the elastic back part, make sure to stretch the fabric so that fabric folds are not caught in your stitching line. If you have a thicker fabric, finish the waist seams with bias tape in the same way as we already did in part 1 of this tutorial with the gathered cups seams. For the thinner fabric, do as I do in this tutorial. Please note that this method only works if your bias tape have a steady edges and don't fluff easily. Press the bias tape open. Then, place the bias tape on top of the seam allowance, overlapping the seam line only by 2-3 millimeters. Pin in place and baste. stitch on the machine from the side of the skirt. Stitch in the ditch, or 2 millimeters from the previous seam line. Remove the basting tread. Press the tape away from the seam allowances. Fold the tape over the raw edge of the seam allowances and secure it under the seam so it encloses the raw edge. Pin and baste in place. Stitch from the side of the bodice at 2 millimeters from the seam line. Remove the basting tread. We are almost done. Now, all you need to do is trim the excess tape allowance from the bottom part. Just be careful not to cut into the main fabric. Okay, let's do the straps now. Fold the long edges of the shoulder strap piece to the middle. Press. Fold once more, wrong sides in, baste. Make sure that the outer side of the strap is overlapping the inner side by 2 millimeters. stitch on the machine along the edge. Remove the basting tread. Press once more. Time to attach the straps to our Ramona dress. Just make sure that you are attaching them with the correct side upwards. Baste and stitch the straps to the front and back bodice of the garment. Remove the basting tread. Press the seam allowances towards the inside of the dress. Trim the excess tape fabric under the straps allowance. Install the concealed zipper into the open seam in the left side of the garment. If you need the detailed instructions on how to sew in the zipper, check the part 3 of the Elena dress tutorial. You will find the link to this video in the description below. Don't forget to hand stitch the waist seam allowances to the skirt allowances at the side seams. After the zipper is installed, finish the underarm seams with bias tape the same way we finished the underbust seam allowances in part 1 of this tutorial. Don't forget to nip the corners of the side seam allowances. Note that the allowances of the shoulder straps should be hidden inside the bias tape. Do not stitch with the machine on top of the boning. Otherwise, you will break your needle. Instead, hand stitch this part. Fold the zipper ends inside the bias tape and stitch them in place. the underarm allowances are finished, give them a good steamy press. Level the hem of the skirt before finishing the seams. Do this only when the garment is almost finished, so you can measure the accurate skirt length. Press the whole piece and hang the garment up for at least 24 hours. This gives the fabric a chance to relax and stretch, and you'll have a better sense of what the fabric will look like when it's worn. If you have a dress form that use it, put the garment on that. If not, put the garment on yourself and try to get a friend to help with leveling. Measure the same distance from the floor all the way around the hem and mark, either with pins or chalk. Now, you are ready to trim off any excess fabric. Use the pins as a guideline to cut around the hem. Remember, thinner and sleeker fabric means more measured pins should be placed. After the skirt is properly leveled, roll the edge of the hem by approximately 5 millimeters and stitch close to the bottom folded edge. Don't press the seam yet. Trim the uneven folded edge if you need to. Fold over the hem again by 5 millimeters. Stitch over your first row of stitching. Press the seam. And with that, our Ramona dress is complete. Give the garment a final press and it's done. Remember that you can buy this pattern at my Etsy store. Link will be in the description below. If you liked this tutorial, please like and subscribe. And I will be seeing you again very, very soon. But for now, bye.